And I am here again today to talk to you about another one of the pitfalls we find with group homes, which is one of the industries that we work with. And so, if you own a group home or operate a group home, let me ask you this. When I say the word cost report, how do you feel? Now, if you're like most organizations that we work with, cost reports probably make you a little shaky. They probably make your chest tight. They probably make you start to maybe even sweat a little bit. And if you're watching this and you're like, "What the heck?" The cost reports are something that have to be submitted to the state in order to get you to reflect what your reimbursement rate or what your daily rate is going to be for the people or kids or adults that you have in your group home. And so, if you're operating a group home, a lot of times you have to submit these cost reports every year, depending on the type of group home that you have. And what it does is it gives you this daily rate that needs to happen. And then you can only spend or you have to spend out most of those funds every year. And so it can put organizations in a tricky place because if you don't have enough to operate, you can't improve what you're doing. And if you can't improve what you're doing, then it can become really stressful. If you have positions open, or if you have a real high turnover, or a million other things can happen that really make this process very overwhelming for a lot of organization and leaders within group homes. And it is the way that it is. It's not a most perfect way, but it's a way that the state typically keeps people accountable for what's going on in their organization. While also making sure that they're planning ahead and putting things in place for programming that ensures that the program is going to be in place, because that's the other aspect, right? Is that with group homes and they have programs that they set up to be able to service their clients, but if they're operating their organization incorrectly, what happens with when anybody does that? They go out of business and then the programming falls through and then these clients are displaced and it becomes this whole mess, because a lot of times people that have group homes are serving a certain population that really needs a lot of support and care. And they're doing that, in a very inclusive, whole way, which is why it's a group home, right? It's like constant 24-hour continuative care typically. And so that is twofold. The state wants to make sure they're doing it, and then they're working with organizations that are really intentional about what's going on. But cost reports can be very complicated, they can be very, very overwhelming, and they can be very difficult to strategize. And then the other side of that is that you also have to then manage those funds that are coming in a certain way that spends down those funds within the certain allowable amount, so that you don't lose your or get a reduced daily rate. Because as that sounds, if your rate is reduced, that means you're going to collect less money. So it's really kind of this balancing act of being able to provide exceptional programming while also being able to manage the funds that are moving around your organization, and being able to make those decisions on an operational basis. So that is something that we help our clients do. We help prepare cost reports, but we also help manage those funds so that you can be better equipped with the decision making. And this is a process that we're continuing to refine and improve on as we work with more and more group homes, because it's important and it's something that definitely becomes a pitfall. It definitely becomes something that overwhelms a lot of our providers. And that is something that we can come in and help put a system in place and a good accounting system in place, but then also help you manage it. So if you have a group home and cost reports make you a little bit anxious, for one, reach out to the rep at the state, because a lot of times they're wanting to help you as well. So, like, step one is to seek out that support from the state to figure out what do you need, make sure you have an understanding of what the cost reports entail. But then also, on the other hand, make sure that your provider, your accountant, your bookkeeper, your whoever is compiling that information really has a good understanding of what a cost report is, what needs to be reflected on there, and then make sure that they do it effectively so that your rates don't change in a negative way, and that you also continue to operate successfully. Because, like I said, group homes are a huge, um, you know, base level impactor. Their impact, the piece of society that typically does not get support. And isn't that an amazing thing that they get to do? And we, by extension, get to help with that as well. And that is what we want to make sure happens with you, is that if you have a group home, that you're properly equipped to continue to operate your group home and have that impact and continue that programming at a high level that is sustainable. So, you need help, you want to talk, need some resources, whatever it might be, please feel free to reach out. Something I would definitely love to help you with. Have a great one, and I will talk to you again soon.